coalition led by transit-dependent riders in the greater Richmond area. Please welcome Montague Magruder.
Good afternoon, everybody. Happy May Day. Hello. I'm a member of the Richmond Transit Riders Union, which has been, for the past year, trying to undo the harm that City Council has brought upon the transit-dependent community, such as myself. I've been a transit-dependent person my entire life, and to see such travesty that has happened in regards to public transit here is sickening to me. To see the fares go up, the fares really weren't justified when they raised the fares just based on the condition of passing the city budget. When they create this new GRTC and study and task force, you know, to basically reduce the GRTC to nothing more than a bunch of vans and magnetic tap cards, you know, does it really make sense to run that kind of service here in this city with this kind of population? I don't think so. And the thing is that I'm noticing that every organization here has ties, in a way, to public transportation. We all, in a way, have a dependence on public transportation. Without public transportation, decent public transportation, there are no jobs because nobody can access them. There are no housing opportunities because nobody can access them. So I'm inviting everybody in each organization to come join with us, be a part, come together with us. Let's show these politicians, these corporations, and these media outlets the kind of similarities that we do have, instead of allowing them to continue to hone in on our differences, which has been dividing us and tearing us apart along racial lines, political lines for decades. They've relied on this. But this is a perfect example of what we can do when we recognize our similarities and come together as a people. That's right. And with that, I would like to close out and enjoy the rest of your May Day, people.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is the Communications Officer of the Richmond Industrial Workers of the World, Miss Peggy Sterling. She is a 2010 graduate of the Union Theological Seminary with a Master's of Arts in Theological Studies and a concentration in Theology and Ethics. Please welcome Peggy Sterling.
Hello, how is everyone?
Great. Great.
I was recently talking with a friend of mine, and we started discussing social justice and people working for social justice. And she said it doesn't happen today because people are no longer altruistic the way the generation of the 1960s was. Well, I got to contemplating that, and I think it is really sad if altruism, which is the selfless concern for the welfare of others, is absent. But really, altruism has nothing to do with social justice work of any kind or unions. No matter what your station in life or where you're living, when justice prevails, you benefit. Yeah. In the words of an indigenous Australian or Maori, we're not sure, visual artist, activist, and academic Lily Watson, if you've come to help me, you're wasting your time. But if you have come because your liberation is bound up with mine, then come, let us walk together. A clean environment benefits us all, as does access to education, healthcare, the right to work, and social safety net that protects those who are unable to work. And speaking of the right to work, when I say right to work, I don't mean the right to fire, like the treacherous doublespeak used by the anti-unionists. The right to work means everyone has a right to meaningful employment. It means having the right to protect yourself from abusive employment practices by joining together in unions that can negotiate for their members. Working for social justice is not a selfless concern for the welfare of others. It is the acknowledgement that only when there is really justice for all will anyone truly be free. Another reason given for not becoming involved is fear for one's job security. If that's so, are you really secure if you can be let go for any reason at any time? How many here know someone who has been laid off or has been themselves laid off just because they came ill and taxed the welfare system? How many here know of someone who has been laid off because the company wanted to cut costs by downsizing, even while the company was making record profits? If you have a job, how many are being asked to work long hours with no overtime pay or better benefits to make up for the work of those who were let off? How many here are being asked to pay more than they can afford to pay for health care, while at the same time those health care benefits are being reduced? These issues are among the many that I have not named that give the reason why unions were created in the first place. By busting unions, employers taking back the rights that thousands upon thousands of union members have died for in the past. These brave men and women fearlessly stood up for their rights. Today we're losing many of those hard-won rights. I suggest that the fight for social justice is not an altruistic act, but the only way to protect yourself and your children from corporate oppression. And I'm going to close with something that was written many years ago by Pastor Martin Niemöller, and I think it's very relevant today, and there are many here who can attest that the oppression is here today. And what this pastor said was, first they came for the communists, and I didn't speak out because I wasn't a communist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I didn't speak out because I wasn't a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I didn't speak out because I wasn't a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me. Thank you.